And my soul has got to go. I got another building.
That's right. I think that's what Kyrie Irving was saying, right? I think that's what Kyrie Irving was saying. There's a leak in this building called the Brooklyn Nets, and I gotta go. I gotta go. Kyrie Irving is gone, everybody. He's gone from the New York, from the Brooklyn. What is it? Brooklyn Nets, right?
Brooklyn Nets.
Brooklyn
First
Nets.
of all, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon,
Erick
everyone.
James. That's Clay Morris.
I'm
He's
Clay.
jumping the gun. He's moving slow and jumping the gun. How you do that, boy?
Well, because we're ready. We were born ready. We can't wait to get here. And when we get here, we just start going. Yes, it is Tuesday, February 7th in the 2023 year of our Lord Jesus Christ. You are on the Amazing Grace Sports Network here with Erick James and Clay Morris. And the big news of the day is that Kyrie Irving has left the Brooklyn Nets after recruiting James Harden and Kevin Durant. Kyrie has left the building. Yep.
It seems to be a phenomenon that goes on now. I think it started with the big three: Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and shooting
Ray Allen.
Ray Allen to the Celtics to win a championship, and then I think LeBron jumped on board and went down to Miami from Cleveland with the big three, and then Durant tried to put it together.
He went to Golden State.
Golden State.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he ends up in then Kyrie's trying to do it in Brooklyn with Durant and Harden, and that thing fell apart. I really, the whole thing is that when we look at the Kevin Garnett thing, that was a trade that involved like 8 players.
Yeah,
that was actually a front office move, management thing, where Danny Ainge was able to pull that off in order that Kevin Durant, Ray Allen, everyone forgets, but he was not that high on the list as far as what people thought, as far as the NBA star at that time. He was kind of like on the downswing. So they were able to get him just for a number 1 draft pick. They say, hey, listen, you want this draft pick? And they gave it to, I think it was the Supersonics at the time, whoever they were. And they took him, and we ended up getting Ray Allen. So that was not a move where everyone decided, okay, I'm going to Boston.
Right.
That was a move where Ray Allen says, what, I'm going to Boston? And then Kevin Durant says, all right, listen, if you want, I'm out of here then, because, they gave him the right of refusal. He could have refused the trade, but he said, you know what, maybe I'm going to a contender that could win. So he went. The rest of these guys have been putting their own thing together, and it looks like crap for the most part.
Well, it's been getting worse progressively.
Yeah.
Each one seems to get a little bit worse, and it's just not working anymore.
No, James Harden to the Nets. And then the subsequent James Harden for Ben Simmons. I don't even know where to go with that. So I'm just going to start off with our games. Let's just start off with our games, because you're right. The more you talk about it, the worse it gets, the more convoluted and confused. And I can't even understand why any of these trades are made or after a certain period, or why these players actually do this. I don't know what they see. You think maybe they see something we don't see, but in the end, no, they don't. They actually, the vision of what's going to work is even worse than what we are. So let's just go down to the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, they traveled to Detroit and brought some bright light to Detroit, where there's grime and crime and darkness for the most part, besides the cars. And they beat the Detroit Pistons 111-99, 111-99. And no, I don't think it was close. I don't know why they're playing Jason Tatum so much. 39 minutes. Anyway, Tatum led all scorers with 34 points. He played 39 minutes, 11 of 24 for 34 points. Had a plus 16. Jaylen Brown didn't play. So missing in action was Jaylen Brown and his 27 points and Marcus Smart and his 11 points. In place of Jaylen Brown, they started Sam Hauser. Who? Yeah, who? Sam Hauser. Sam Hauser played 31 minutes, scored 15 points. Al Horford played 33, was 1 for 6 for 3 points. Robert Williams played 29 minutes, 7 for 9 for 15. And Derek White Maybe Derek White should be playing more often. He played 37 minutes, 8 for 17 for 23 points. They got 16 points from the bench. The usual suspect, Malcolm Brogdon. I think total, what was it? 21 points from the bench. They didn't really need it, as Detroit's just a horrible team right now. Detroit was led by my guy, Bojan Bogdanovic. No, you don't have Bojan today. I got Bojan. Bojan played. You know what? I'd like to see Bojan on the Celtics. I'm a Celtics fan, and I like to say this. Bojan is always efficient. Check this out. He played 33 minutes. He was 6 for 11. 2 for 4 from three-point line, 21 points. 21 points. Then you had Isaiah Stewart. He 31 minutes, 4 for 12. The exact opposite. 0 for 7 from three-point line for a good 10 points. You had Jaden Duren, 3 for 4, 7 points. Jaden Ivory. So you got Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivory. Jalen Ivory was 3 for 4, and he had 14 points. And then you had no-nonsense Alex Burks. Alex doesn't do well starting. When Alex comes off the bench, he's good for 10 to 20. When he starts, he's good for in the teens, and not even the teens, single digits. Alex played 19 minutes, 2 for 8, 5 points. They got 31, 37, 42 points from the bench, and that was the name of that. 42 points from the bench, and it didn't help for Detroit because Detroit lost 111 to 99.
Well, they're scrubbing the bottom of the lake anyway.
Yeah. Terrible.
I don't know. Maybe Kevin Durant will go over there.
Kevin Durant would not allow himself to get traded to Detroit. They couldn't pay him enough money for that crap. No.
Next, we got the Wizards in Cleveland. The Cleveland Cavaliers went over to Washington, and if you bet on Washington, you lose.
You lost.
Cleveland.
You lost by 23 points.
They wiped them up pretty good. We did some laundry shoots with them. Anyway, let's see. What did Cleveland do? Mr. Isaiah Mobley, 28 minutes, 7 of 13 for 16 points. Mr. Isaac Okoro, 26 minutes, 4 of 6 for 12 points. Mr. Jared Allen.
Now that's a good line there.
37 minutes, 10 for 13. He missed, 10 for 13. He got 23 points. We have Mr. Darius Garland.
Yeah.
28 minutes, 9 of 15, and 23 points. Then we have my man Donovan Mitchell. 28 minutes, 8 for 16, and 21 points.
You're doing good with them. They didn't play him that much. They only played him 28 minutes. They said, we don't need you. Have a seat, Donovan.
Yeah, and they kind of spread the bench out. They didn't do too much. 14, 16.
It's like 19 points.
19 points off the bench.
Yeah.
We go over and look at the Wizards.
That's what they were doing, was whispering, because they weren't doing any shouting in this game. They were quiet, very quiet.
Okay, Mr. Whisper himself. Mr. Whisper himself, Corey Kispert, 26 minutes. He did 1 for 7 field goals. Wow.
1 for 7.
0 for 5 3-pointers. Oh, God.
Gosh.
He was at a negative 13 for 2 points. Woo. Mr. Denny Adija.
Adija, it looks like to me.
30 minutes, 3 for 10, and 12 points. Mr. Kristaps Porzingis, 26 minutes, 7 of 13 for the field goals, and he hit 18 points.
I just gotta say, now these guys are playing at home. It's not like they're traveling to a different gym and have to get used to the rims. They're playing at home, and you got 1 for 7 and 3 for 10.
Well, the spots change in their home court, so the wood, it kind of gives a little more when other people come to town.
That's what they're saying. That's what their agent is saying. You can be their agent. They know where to go now. Hey, you guys need a good agent.
Oh God, Mr. Daniel Gafford. He got 24. He did play 24 minutes, 5 of 6 for 11 points. And our man, Mr. Monty Morris.
Monty Morris.
22 minutes, 4 of 8 field goal for 10 points. Let's see, coming off that bench, Mr.
Will Barton.
Will Barton. Mr. Will Barton gave you 27 minutes, 6 of 12 for 15 points. And everybody else was in the single digits.
That's right. Bench gave him 38 points, though, in that losing effort.
Yeah.
Speaking of losing efforts, we come to the LA Clippers traveling to the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, and Kevin Durant is already out injured. And, of course, that dynamo, that human scoring machine, Ben Simmons, is out injured again. Yes, yet again. And Kyrie Irving was traded last night, so he was held out the game. So you can imagine what happened to Brooklyn. Yes, they lost. They lost at home to Brooklyn, to the LA Clippers, who really didn't want to. They really didn't want to play. They just have to finish off this road trip. And they rolled into Brooklyn and they beat Brooklyn 124 to 116, 124 to 116. And I don't know what to say for Brooklyn. It looks like curtains for Brooklyn right now. But we're going to go forth. Paul George. I don't know why they had to play Paul George 34 minutes. There was nobody in Brooklyn to play. But he played 34 minutes. He was 10 for 20, 29 points. Kawhi Leonard, 34 minutes, 8 for 17 for 24 points. Marcus Morris, not related to Monty. Marcus Morris played 17 minutes, 1 for 3 for 2 points. Ivan Zubac, 30 minutes, 6 for 9, 19 points. And Terrence Mann, yes, Terrence Mann from the Field of Dreams is still playing basketball. He was actually 5 for 9. Not bad. Still, the only guy in the starting 5 that wasn't in the minus column, plus minus column, was not in the minus column, was Terrence Mann. Was Ivan Zubac. Terrence Mann was a minus 20. So these guys, the bench carried them. They got 38 points on the bench. Norman Powell gave him a plus 13 for 14 points. Reggie Jackson gave him a plus 27 with 12 points. And Luke Kennard gave him a plus 12 with 3 points. The bench came in, played defense and offense, and won the game for them. Now let's look at the Brooklyn Nets. Missing in action was Kyrie Irving with 27 points a game. Missing in action was also Kevin Durant with 30 points a game. Well, Kyrie was traded. Durant was injured. And Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, that human dynamo, that human scoring highlight machine, it hit 7 points. So they lost 60 points right there. Gone. Now, you may wonder why Ben Simmons is out injured again. He has a knee issue. It's an undescribed knee issue, not like a sprain, not like an MCL sprain or ACL sprain or anything of a tear, just soreness. And for Ben, that's enough.
Come on, easy.
We don't have any sacred cows here. We call him out, baby. We call him out. I think he's like, Ben is doing all right in this country. Let's put it that way. All right, Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal gave him 15. Joe Harris, 6. Nick Claxton gave him 15. Edmund Summer. Now, Edmund Summer looks like he's a guy who's going to benefit from Kyrie being gone and Simmons being gone and Durant being gone. Edmund Summer, who averages 7 points a game, scored 23 points with everyone missing. And Cameron Thomas looks like another guy that's going to really benefit from these 3 guys not being in the mix anymore. He played 39 minutes. He was 15 for 29. 7 for 11 from three-point land for 47 points. Cameron Thomas, 47 points.
Wow.
Listen, he ain't missing Durant. He ain't missing Kyrie. He ain't missing Ben Simmons either. You just stick Cameron Thomas in there and let him go to work. They got 10 points from the bench. Everyone else was shell-shocked because Cameron was shooting out the lights in Brooklyn last night. So that was that. Good luck, Brooklyn Nets. Wait a minute. Didn't Stephen A. Smith say Brooklyn was going to be a contender against Boston this year?
Yeah, I don't know if he's saying that no more.
I'm sure he has some backup plan.
Next, we have San Antonio Spurs and Chicago Bulls. If you bet on Chicago Bulls, you won.
You won.
Chicago at home, Chicago beat 128 to 104. Spurs go home. Spurs go home. Let's see. Mr. Bates Diop. Keita Bates Diop. He played 26 minutes, 3 of 5 for 9 points. Mr. Stanley Johnson. Strike that. Mr. Keldon Johnson. Keldon Johnson played 29 minutes, 8 of 12 for 21 points. Mr. Poetti. Jacob Poetti. I don't know why I always mess with that name. 30 minutes, 6 of 11 for 14 points. Mr. Josh Richardson. 31 minutes, 5 of 14 field goals for 11 points. And Mr. Maliki Braham. Malachi Braham. 32 minutes, 6 of 18 for 15 points. And the bench was subpar.
He gave 34 points.
34 points. Everybody played. They spread out the doggone wealth. Let's see. Go over here to Chicago. Let's see. Mr. Patrick Williams played 18 minutes, 4 of 7 field goals. Oh, man. Pick that up, man. I got UPS at the door.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
This is how we do it. Yeah, Patrick Williams played. He gave 18 minutes and 11 points. DeMar DeRozan, 8 for 17. His usual solid performance. Played 34 minutes, 19 points. Nikola Vucevic played 24 minutes, 10 for 18. Gotta love those stats. Except he was only 2 for 6 from the three-point line. He gave him 22 points. Zach LaVine, the volume shooter, actually did not out-volume himself. He was 7 for 14, shot 50%, played 31 minutes, scored 20 points. In Ayo Dosunmu. Ayo to you, Ayo to me. Played 31 minutes, was 4 for 6. He doesn't need to shoot the ball a lot, and gave him 10 points. The bench gave them 46. That's right. The bench gave Chicago 46. Well, they scored 128. So it's wow. DeMar DeRozan was a plus 32. So when he was out there, they played offense and defense. So we got to get to him on that one.
Drummond did pretty good too with 21 points.
Who was that? Drummond. Oh, you know what? Andre Drummond. There was an Andre Drummond sighting. Andre Drummond said, "We're playing the San Antonio Spurs. Put me in, coach." That's right. Andre Drummond, you want to hear this? Andre Drummond was 9 for 9 in field goals. 3 for 4 from the free throw line, 21 points, and that's all she wrote. I'm going to go with the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know how Dallas Mavericks and Utah Jazz. I think we might have a little mix-up in our order here, but not to worry. We're going to figure this out. The Dallas Mavericks. They traveled to Utah. Now, isn't Utah in first place? I believe they are. No, they're not. Obviously, they're not. They're not in first place. Anyway, the Mavericks traveled to Utah, and they slapped around the Utah Jazz without Luka Doncic. Yes, the Mavericks didn't even play Luka. Luka he injured his heel in a loss that they had to Golden State on Saturday, so he didn't even play. But the Dallas Mavericks still slapped up on the Utah Jazz. Beginning with Tim Hardaway, played 35 minutes, was 5 for 16, 17 points. Reggie Bullock finally had a decent game, if we can call 13 points a decent game. He played 34 minutes because that was 5 for 11. We have a Dwight Powell, yeah. He's the center, but he only plays a couple of minutes, 28 minutes a game, 4 for 5. They don't give him the ball that much. He's usually an alley-oop guy. Follows up at the rim. He had 12 points. Then we had a McKinley Wright. And that had to look really hard for this guy because he's just got on the roster. He played 20 minutes, was 5 for 10, and gave him 10 points. Then we have Josh Green. 37 minutes, 10 for 17, 29 points. They got 43 points from the bench, most from Jaden Hardy. Jaden Hardy came in, playing guard, was 8 for 12 and gave him 29 points of that 43 points.
Where did go fit Kyrie in at?
Kyrie's not in. Kyrie didn't play yet.
I know. Where they gonna fit him in at?
Reggie Bullock had a slow year, so they got him at forward. I don't know what they're going to do with him in there. This is going to be funny, but it's going to solve a problem that they were having. Who was bringing up the ball?
Oh yeah.
So maybe now, Luka Doncic doesn't have to bring up the ball all the time, which he was doing,
and he shouldn't be anyway.
Yeah, no, he shouldn't be
pounding the ball up is what he does.
You're right. I don't know how this works. But you know what? As bad as what we're seeing here. Okay, let me just go to the Utah Jazz, and then we'll get to that. Kelly Olynyk played 28 minutes, 11 points. Lauri Markkanen, 36 minutes, 9 for 17, 19 points. Walker Kessler, 6 for 9. Gotta love that. 13 points. Mike Conley, 50-year-old Mike Conley played 27 minutes. Played 31 minutes, 4 for 8, 10 points. And you had Jordan Clarkson, who played 32 minutes, 7 for 19 for 26 points. You had Rudy Gay coming off the bench, who gave him 10, and Malik Beasley also gave him 10. Now, I want you to notice something on Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz. It's going to be the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks have Kemba Walker on their team. He used to play out in New York high school star in the whole 9 yards. Frank Ntilikina. He was drafted number 1 by the New York Knicks. And now they're going to have Kyrie Irving coming out of New York, the Brooklyn Nets. This is like a New York reclamation project. I don't know how any of this is going to work. I really don't. The guy who originally swung the deal to get Kyrie Irving to the Nets, Sean Marks, the general manager of the New York Nets, who also facilitated the deal to get Kevin Durant there, even when he was injured. Remember, he was coming off that injury where they won, Golden State won the NBA championship. He was out for a year with an Achilles heel injury. Did not play for a whole year. This general manager, he negotiated to get James Harden into the New York Nets. To the Brooklyn Nets, and then traded Harden for Ben Simmons. We can say all we want about Kyrie being the nutcase and the whole and James Harden not playing. What the heck is going on with Sean Marks? Why does he still have a job? Who the heck is paying him for this type of performance?
Wait a minute. Now, who was the coach that they got rid of for the Nets?
Steve Nash.
Oh, okay. So
to bring in Jacques Vaughn.
Okay. I was thinking, I was like, I thought it was it Jason Kidd? Yeah, it was Steve Nash, right?
Steve Nash. Right. What could Steve Nash have done with Harden and Kyrie? The only play he had that he could actually depend on was Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Right? And so he had no chance. Now they stick Jacques Vaughn in there. He has no chance. But why did they fire Steve Nash when Sean Marks is still making deals like this?
Yeah, who knows?
What does Sean Marks have on the owner of the Brooklyn Nets? It's similar to what Bill Belichick has on Robert Kraft. Why Bill Belichick still has a job after all these 3 years of just debacles that he's done over the last 3 years. Sean Marks still has a job. I can't believe it.
I don't know. All right, let's move on. Sacramento Kings and Houston Rockets. If you bet on the Houston Rockets, you lose. Sacramento beat them 140 to 120. I'm still waiting on my 160. 160's coming, man. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. Let's start off with Sacramento Kings. Let's see. Mr. Domantas Sabonis, 32 minutes, 7 of 10 for 17 points. Mr. Barnes, Harrison Barnes, 26 minutes, 3 of 9 for 9 points. Mr. Murray, Keegan Murray, 33 minutes, 11 of 17 for 30 points. Mr. Fox, De'Aaron Fox, 29 minutes, 5 of 12 for 16 points. And Mr. Kevin Huter, 29 minutes, 7 of 12 for 16 points. And let's see, off that bench, we had Mr. Monk. Malik Monk gave him 22 minutes.
As usual, Malik to the rescue.
And Mr. Lyles, Trey Lyles, Gave him 16 minutes for 14 points.
Well, that'll get you 140 points. You're also playing the Houston Rockets.
Yeah. Well, it's good practice, right?
Yep. Need a good practice run.
Keep on practicing. Don't stop playing because you're playing with people that don't want to play right now. Let's see. And for Houston Rockets, we have Mr. Jabari Smith Jr., 35 minutes, 5 of 15 for 13 points. And Mr. Martin Jr., Kenyon Martin.
Kenyon Martin. It's Kenyon Martin's son.
Okay. 32 minutes, 8 of 10 for 18 points. And Mr. Alperen Segan.
That's him.
36 minutes for 10 for 15 points.
Not bad.
And Mr. Erick Gordon, 31 minutes, 5 of 7 for 16 points.
Poor Eric.
And we have Mr. Jalen Green, 33 minutes, 10 of 21 for 27 points.
27 points. Not bad.
Not bad. So, I mean, they started to do a little something. They just can't seem to win. Nobody played no defense there. So
No, not at 140 points.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Nah, there's not too much D in there. These guys are just shooting up the ball.
Just shoot.
I guess they got an offensive team that doesn't play too much defense. They played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Really? 7 people off the bench.
They're rolling.
Yeah, Houston is rolling to the bottom of the barrel. I'll take Oklahoma City. I'll take those guys. OKC, the Golden State Warriors. Okay. And if you took Golden State because they were playing at home and thought that would be a good move, yeah. Well, you're right. Golden State won by 27 points. They beat Oklahoma City Thunder 141 to 114. 141 to 114. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't that close, as we can see. They laid it on them. As a matter of fact, well, the closest quarter was the last quarter, the fourth quarter, where Golden State only outscored them by 2 points. So going into the fourth quarter, they were up by 29. Now, let's just get to the OKC because OKC is always right there, but never can finish the deal. Jaden Williams played 21 minutes. He gave him 5 points. Jalen Williams played 25 minutes. He gave him 8 points. So between the two J's, Jalen and Jaden, you got 12 points. No, you got 13 points. It looks like you were lucky to get that. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Even he had a bad night. 6 for 16. Played 29 minutes, 20 points. Aaron Wiggins. No relation to Andrew Wiggins, who plays for the Golden State Warriors. He played 25 minutes. He was the most productive guy on the floor for OKC. He was 8 for 10 for 19 points. And Josh Giddey, 29 minutes, 6 for 12, 15 points. They got 47 points from the bench. Trey Mann came off the bench. Listen, how many Trey Manns are there in this league? I don't know. I think you listed one too. Anyway, he was 8 for 17 for 18 points. 18 of the 47 points that the bench scored. And for Golden State Warriors laying the hammer down. Draymond Green had a spectacular scoring night. He was 3 for 7. That's right, 3 for 7 for 7 points.
3 for 4.
Oh, yeah, 3 for 4. Now, that's what I meant by spectacular for the 7 points. Yeah. Then you had Jonathan Kuminga. Jonathan Kuminga was 3 for 9, and he had 7 points also. Andrew Wiggins, not related to Aaron Wiggins, was 8 for 15 for 18 points. So he was outdueled by Aaron Wiggins by 1 point. Klay Thompson. Woo! Klay Thompson. There was a Klay Thompson showing. 15 for 22. 33 minutes and 42 points. Jordan Poole played 29 minutes, 8 for 14 for 21 points. There was no Steph Curry at 30 points a game. And they didn't need it. Obviously, they didn't need it. They got 44 points on the bench, 14 from DiVincenzo, and 12 from Mr. Green. So you had 26 of the 44 points between those two guys. Not bad. Not bad, Golden State.
Not bad. And the last game of the night, we had the Milwaukee Bucks went to Portland to play Portland Trail Blazers at home. And if you bet on Portland, you lose.
You lost.
Bucks 127 over 108. Let's see what we got. Mr. Giannis.
Zeus.
Giannis, 23 minutes, 24 points, 9 of 14 shooting. Mr. Brook Lopez, 32 minutes, 9 of 12 shooting for 27 points. Mr. Drew Holiday, 32 minutes, 9 of 20 shooting for 20 points. Mr. Pat Connaughton, 22 minutes, 4 of 7 for 11 points. And we have Mr. Grayson Allen.
How does Grayson keep a job?
I don't know. 25 minutes, 1 of 3 for 3 points. He's filling the slots, man.
Jeez. He only shot the ball 3 times. He's supposed to be the shooter on the team.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Not today. Not last night.
Let's see. Mr. Chris Middleton gave him 22 minutes for 13 points. And Mr. Carter, Javon Carter, gave him 21 minutes for 11 points. So everybody else kind of packed in a couple of points here and there. So they won.
They won.
Then we have Portland. Let's see what Portland did.
Not much.
Mr. Eubanks, Drew Eubanks, 26 minutes, 5 of 9 shooting for 10 points. Mr. Jeremy Grant, 36 minutes, 4 of 13 for 13 points. Mr. Damian Lillard, 32 minutes, 7 of 18 shooting for 28 points. Mr. Josh Hart, 26 minutes, 5 of 8 shooting for 14 minutes. And Mr. Simons.
Anthony
Simons.
That's right.
Played 35, played the most minutes. 35 minutes, 8 of 16 for 21 points.
Not bad.
And the bench was just kind of hanging around.
That's one way to put it.
22 points.
Yeah, well, here's what you're going to notice. Okay, Milwaukee. Okay, let's just move right to the standings because we're talking about Milwaukee. The Boston Celtics are still in the lead in the Eastern Conference for right now. Milwaukee has gone 9-1 in the last 10 games. They are 1 game behind the Boston Celtics. 1 game. Since Chris Middleton has come back, Milwaukee is a different team. I expect Milwaukee to catch the Celtics because Middleton has he still has a long way to go as far as getting back to his form. But with him and Giannis playing together, you had Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, yes. But now if Chris Middleton gets back to form, you're also getting 25 points from him and 31 points from Zeus, Giannis. I mean, it was such a blowout yesterday that even Giannis's brother, Thanasis, played. Yeah, he got some time. They put Thanasis out there for a total of 4 minutes. And with Chris Middleton back, they can do this. I mean, they can put Grayson Allen back on the bench and Pat Connaughton back on the bench and have them come off the bench and just use Middleton, Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez, and Holiday as their main guys. And that's going to be a tough 5 to beat, tough 4 right there. So we'll see what happens. But as we see right now, they're coming up. They're coming up. They're probably, it's going to be a neck and neck thing if the Celtics take up the challenge. We'll see what happens. But Milwaukee is 1 game behind now. 1 game after being, I think they were out 5 games at one time.
Hello.
I can hear you. Hello. You can't hear me? No? I can hear you. Yeah, my mic is still on. So I guess I'll just continue since you can't hear me. I mean, since we're on this thing, little technical difficulties here today, but it's par for the course. It's a full moon outside. Down here in Naples, you can see that moon all the way into the morning. So at 7 o'clock this morning, there was a full moon still in Naples. Go figure that one. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? You still can't hear me. We're going to do this the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, for some reason that sound went out.
Now, I can hear you. Now there's a double. Okay.
Yep.
Oh. Now, how are we doing? All right. Now you can hear me. And I can hear you.
You can hear me there, but I can't hear you off the iPad.
Right.
I don't know, man.
I told you about those Apple products.
Stop it, man.
I tell all, but listen, let's just move on here. Listen, we got the NBA standings. Milwaukee is coming up fast. Then you have the Philadelphia 76ers. They are just 3 games behind the Celtics now. They are 8-2. See, the Celtics are 6-4 in the last 10. Milwaukee is 9-1 in the last 10. And the Philadelphia 76ers are 8-2 in the last 10. So Joel Embiid is just giving these guys a push. He's making these guys. He's having an MVP season, and he's just carrying the rest of the team because there's really not much there. It's Joel Embiid and whoever decides to do something that night. They don't have anything consistent. Unbelievable. Cleveland Cavaliers with the best home record in the league. No, actually they don't. Milwaukee Bucks have that now, 23-5. Unbelievable. Cleveland Cavaliers are 5 games behind the action. In their last 10, they are 6-4. You have the Brooklyn Nets. They're even lucky to be there. Brooklyn Nets are in number 5, 5th place, 5.5 games behind the action. In their last 10, they are 5-5. Miami Heat. Miami Heat's coming up. They are 29-35, 9 games behind the first place Celtics, and they are 5-5 in their last 10 games. What do you got there, Eric?
Got the New York Knicks. New York Knicks 29-26. They're still in 500 block. 9.5 games behind the Celtics. They won 4 of their last 10 games. Atlanta Hawks 27-27. They're right at 500. 11 games behind Celtics. They won 5 of their last 10 games. Chicago Bulls 26-27. Below 500, 11.5 games behind the Celtics.
Terrible.
And they've won 7 of their last 10.
Woo! That.
Lost 7. They lost 7.
That's what
Sorry. And then we have Indiana Pacers, 25-30. They're below 500, 13.5 games behind the Celtics. And they won 2 of their last. They lost 2 of their last 10.
That's right. They've won 2 of the last 10. Actually, Chicago has won 7 of the last 10. Not bad.
Right, 7, right.
Yeah. Well, Toronto Raptors, there's not much to see there. Not much to say about them. 25-30, below 500. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. 13.5 games out of first place. 5-5 over the last 10 games. Then we have the Washington Wizards. And I thought Bradley Beal, I thought his return was going to give them a boost. Not so much. Well, maybe more than they used to have. They're 13.5 games out of first place. The last 10 games, they are 6-4. So they're actually over 500 in the last 10 games. The Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic, who surprise you sometimes by beating good teams and then they just lose to bad teams. They have 16 games behind the Celtics, behind the first place team, 6-4 in the last 10 games. Then we have the Charlotte Hornets, as me and you discussed. Michael Jordan's team, 15-40. 15-40, 20 games behind. Does anybody really care in Charlotte? Do they really? I mean, this happens year after year, and they're giving a free pass because it's Mike's team. So it's time to stop that. They have 24 games, 24 and a half out, 4-6 in the last 10 games. And then the worst team in the Eastern Conference is the Detroit Pistons. 4-41, 24 games out of first place. Last 10 games, they are 2-8. Well, I mean, Detroit does try. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. They always seem to try to put a good product out there. They go out there and get players, but for whatever reason, with Joe Dumars as the general manager, it has not happened. That's right. Dumars is the general manager, and they've stunk for the past 10 years. Yeah. Yep. Well, he should be fired. I mean, when your team is this bad for 10 years, the general manager should be fired. And whoever's managing Michael Jordan's team should be fired. But you can't fire Mike. He's the owner. I don't know if he's making the decisions, but who's ever in charge of player personnel for Charlotte needs to be fired. There's not too many other ways around it. It's like having a car that won't run. You can't keep putting it out there when it won't run for you. You got to get a new car.
Yeah. I don't know. These losing teams, they got so much to fix. Like, how do you fix it?
Well, yeah. I'll give you an example. Jalen Duren, Detroit. Number 1 draft pick. Very good draft pick. But they don't have any veterans on that team that can give this kid any direction. All right? The thing when you have a young player and you bring him in, he's trying to do everything. He's trying to play offense, defense, get rebounds, defense. You need somebody to stick him into a place and let him start there and work his way up.
Yeah.
Okay? Jalen Duren, I believe his name is. Okay? Big kid. Nice big kid. A lot of skills. No direction. So it starts with player personnel, then it starts with coaching. But first, you're going to have to get player personnel. They're getting good number one draft picks every year. They're picking in the top 10.
Yeah.
And they can't get anything done. That means you should be fired. I love you, Joe Dumars, but you should be fired because you need to bring in the coach and the players in order to get this done. That's your job. Just like Sean Marks. I said Sean Marks should be fired for bringing in Kyrie Irving, Durant, Harden, and then the guy who never plays. Yeah, that guy, Ben Simmons. Heck yeah, Sean should be fired. But if that's the case, Joe Dumars should be fired too.
And then Mike Jordan should fire himself.
Michael Jordan? Well,
he's
the owner. You can't fire the owner. That's like saying Jerry Jones is going to fire himself.
Hey,
I'll tell you what the problem. The problem is it's up to Mike. It's up to the owner of the Pistons to fire. Yeah, Joe Dumars. It's like it's up to Michael Jordan to fire the general manager of the Charlotte Hornets. Just like it's up to the owner of the Nets to fire Sean Marks, because your team is not going to get any better. These guys can't get it together.
Right.
Well, that's all we have for you today. By next week, Kevin Durant should be a Celtic. There's no that guy hanging around. We can just bring him in and we can give them Sam Hauser and Luke Cornett.
I think that'll mess up the whole circuit in the Celtics rotation.
Well, I don't. I think Jason Tatum needs a rest. He's looking awful tired. That way they can put Durant in there, let him get some run, let Jalen get a rest, let Jason get a rest. Durant will probably be injured by the time the playoffs roll around again. But at least those guys will be fresh. That's what I'm going with. That's right, because he's 37, 38 years old. He's not going to stay healthy, even if he comes back.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I think it's going to happen. I think it's worth. Listen, I got some music for you here.
All right. What you
Listen
got?
to this. How's that? Well, we're closing out, ladies and gentlemen, on a February 7th, on the Tuesday, February 7th, 2023 year of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amazing Great Sports Network. I'm Clay Morris. That's
Erick James.
Erick James.
Guys, have a great evening.
We're out of here.
All right.
Too bad you can't hear the music.
I hear it.
You hear it?